Let's have a personal reflection prayer. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Order, councillors, thank you very much. Councillors, firstly, I would like to refer you to the Rules of Order, by law, section 12. Oh, okay, thank you. Before I start with the order of procedure, can I confirm the numbers, please? Secretariat, let's confirm the numbers and have the numbers on the screen before I deal with the order of procedure. Let's display the numbers on the screen, please. Have you checked the numbers? Are we Secretariat?
Sihlalo,
Councillor Checho.
maybe, thank you, Sihlalo, and good morning, colleagues. Maybe before we start, whilst you're waiting for the numbers to see whether we're correct or not, I would like to draw your attention to this book, the Rule of Order Bylaw book, particularly section 15, subsection J. Section 15, subsection J. If I may read it for you, Chair. I'm doing this for the purposes of smooth running the process of this meeting today and in future. Subsection J reads as follows. The Speaker, as the presiding officer, this is directed at you, consider all points of order and rule on them. Consider all points of order and rule on them. So for the smooth running of the meeting, we would really appreciate if you would, where there's a point of order, you consider that point of order, listen to the point of order raised and rule on them. Whether rule for or against, it's immaterial. I'm saying this taken from what happened in our last meeting.
Okay, thank you. Are we done, Secretariat, with numbers? Can you please? Councillors, let's proceed. Numbers have been confirmed. The council correct, as you can see on the screen. Councillors, I just want to draw your attention on Rule 12, Sub-Rule 2. We talk about the rules of order by law, where the Speaker is being given powers to change the order in which the matters appear on the agenda after considering the suitable motivation. Therefore, as guided by that rule, I have decided to change the order of procedure of council by entertaining the urgent notice of motion that I've received as per the rules, Rule 22, from Councillor Olanda Young. I will now hand over to Councillor Young to present or confirm the motion that I have received in terms of Rule 22, Sub-Rule A. Councillor Young?
Thanks, Chair. I confirm I'm tabling the motion to remove Councillor Mavundla from the executive.
Can you please assist Uyolanda in microphone lapha?
No, Chair, I'm confirming that we are tabling the motion to remove Councillor Mavundla from the executive. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Yolanda. Yes, I have received an urgent motion. Within 24 hours, I received it in the around about 8:30 yesterday. Then After receiving it, I look at the content and whether it qualifies. Then I made a ruling that the motion can be tabled to council. Then I had a meeting with the whips of all parties as expected according to the rules to brief them about the motion. But because after I received the motion, there have been a number of legal processes that have been happening from yesterday afternoon till late in the evening. As I've said, that the motion has been seconded. It meets all the requirements, seconded by Councillor Ngonyama Rotas. But because of those legal challenges that have happened from yesterday till late in the evening, I would like to allow Mr. Hlongo Melosi, the head of legal, just to take counsel through of what happened after I received this motion in court, 2:30 yesterday and late in the evening, so that counsel understand, instead of hearing from the media and different social media platforms. Mr. Njomane, please take counsel on the update. Thank you.
Thank you, Babu Speaker. Indeed, it is correct that the municipality and office bearers, some office bearers, were cited in an application by the Deputy Mayor, which was an urgent application yesterday, which was scheduled to take place at 2:30 in the High Court. The relief that was sought by the Deputy Mayor was firstly that the court declares that he is the duly elected Deputy Mayor for the full term until he either resigns or ceases to be resigns as a councillor or ceases to be a member of the executive committee. Another relief that was sought was to interdict and restrain the municipality and the office bearers from taking any steps to remove him from the executive committee or from being the deputy mayor without following the processes of the law as prescribed in the rules of order and in sections 47, 48, and 53 of the Municipal Structures Act. Indeed, the deputy mayor was successful, the order was granted, and the municipality was interdicted from proceeding to remove him without complying with the law as I have laid it out. In terms of maybe in fairness to the councillors, because not all of you have got copies of what I have referred to, I'll just read the applicable sections of the law. Section 47 of the Structures Act deals with the vacancies in the executive committee. You will all recall that for a councillor to be eligible to be elected as a mayor or deputy mayor, that councillor must first be the member of the executive committee. So Section 47 deals with the vacancies in the executive committee, and it says, a member of an executive committee vacates office during a term if that member, A, resigns as a member of the executive committee, B, is removed from the office as the member of the executive committee in terms of Section 53, or C, ceases to be a councillor. And Section 48 deals with the election of mayors and as well as the deputy mayors. And 48.4 says a mayor and deputy mayor is elected for the duration of that person's term as a member of the executive committee, but vacates office during a term if that person, A, resigns as a as a mayor or deputy mayor, B, is removed from the office as a member of the executive committee in terms of section 53, or C, ceases to be a member of the executive committee. Then what does section 53 says? Section 53 deals with the removal from office of executive committees. 53(1) says a municipal council may, by resolution, remove from office one or more or all of the members of its executive committee. Prior notice of an intention to move a motion for the removal of members must be given. Now, that is what the order says. We cannot, or this council cannot remove the deputy mayor without complying with the provisions that I have read. And to give effect to these provisions, we then make use of the rules of order that are applicable in the processes of this municipality and this municipal council. When we were in court yesterday, the judge inquired because he was taken into confidence and informed that the notice of motion had already been received by the speaker. And he inquired as to what type of notice of motion are we dealing with? Is it an ordinary notice of motion or an urgent notice of motion? If it's an ordinary notice of motion, the provisions of Rule 18 would be applicable. If it's the urgent notice of motion, the provisions of Rule 22 would be applicable. The submission was made that the type of the notice of motion was an urgent one. And then we dealt with the matter on the basis that there should be compliance with Rule 22, which applies to the urgent notices of motion. When the judge was making his ruling, he indicated that he was satisfied that there had been compliance with Rule 22(1). I'll just want to read it to the council as I deal with it. He was satisfied that there was compliance with or rather there was no dispute that there was compliance with Rule 22(1)(a) and B. And what Rule 22(1)(a) and B provides, it says, a councillor may move an application on an urgent basis, provided that a notice of motion is handed to the speaker at least 24 hours before the scheduled meeting, and B, motivation for the urgency is attached to the notice of motion. Having made that finding, the judge went further and said, even though this is not provided for in our rules, Section 53 requires that there should be prior notice of that notice of motion, and we should satisfy that requirement for full compliance with the law, because there is a decision that was made by the Supreme Court of Appeal that was referred to by the legal team representing the deputy mayor, which dealt with the issue of prior notice. And I'll just read two paragraphs that were referred to during the deliberations in court. Paragraph 10 of the Ingoza municipality matter that was in the SCA reads as follows. Section 53(1) makes it obligatory that prior notice of the intention to move a motion for the removal of a member of the executive committee be given. The section does not confine the giving of prior notice to a member or those members of the executive committee who are subject of the proposed removal. In my view, a proper reading of the section should entail giving notice to all members of the of the municipal council. Moving to paragraph 14, the Supreme Court of Appeal said, therefore, notice is necessary to afford the affected member or members an opportunity to be aware and to consider the motion before it is tabled for discussion. Additionally, it is to provide council members similarly with an opportunity to engage meaningfully in the ensuing debate before a resolution is taken. In the light of these principles that were espoused by the Supreme Court of Appeal, the judge said, since he was not satisfied that, in his view, the Speaker would be able to deliver these notices to all the council members before the commencement of the meeting, he would grant the order, and it was granted. Subsequent to that, we were advised by our legal team that the prohibition applies to the extent that the council is not in compliance with the law, which means it should be in compliance with Rule 22 as well as Section 53(1) of the Municipal Structures Act. To comply with the giving a notice as well as 53, the Speaker was then advised that he has to comply with U22(1) capital letter A, which provides that he has to look at the notice of motion as whether is it of a serious nature that it requires immediate attention, B, whether it relates to a specific matter or recent occurrence, C, whether the request is confined to one subject matter, D, whether the request can be dealt with by some other means in the near future, and finally, whether the request concerns a matter that is the responsibility of the council. Once he makes his decision, in terms of Rule 22(2), the Speaker must advise the whips of the contents of the urgent motion as well, and his ruling on whether it will be tabled before council or not, and the ruling of the Speaker is final. I am advised that once the Speaker made his decision, he convened the meeting of the whips and informed them of the contents of the notice of motion as well as his ruling. In line with the legal advice that we received, I advised him to further take a step that is not provided for in our rules of order, to furnish the notice of motion to all members of council in order to comply with paragraphs 10 and 14 of Ingquza Hill municipality case. Therefore, that is why the notice of motion is before all of you honorable councillors, and as far as our legal team is concerned, the municipality and the council and the office bearers have fully complied with the law. Therefore, there is no prospect of contempt as far as the prohibition is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mhlongo. Councillors, is the motion supported, Councillor Mthethwa?
Just a question of clarity, Chair. You said you received an urgent motion submitted by Councillor Young, and subsequent to that, there was an issue of all the legal proceedings that unfolded, and an order was granted. Are we then saying, after the order was granted, there was a resubmission of the very same motion to comply with the relevant legislation and the rules of order? Is that what you're saying? Because as far as I know, taking from what you said, you received a motion before the order was granted in court. I need that clarity.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Mtetwa. Jomane? Or let me check the second hand, Councillor. Yes.
No, greetings and thank you very much, Speaker and Legal. Following that urgent motion, we would like to also have an urgent caucus as the EFF. Thank you very much.
Let's have a response first to the question by Councillor Mtetwa, then I will consider your request, Councillor. Jomane?
Thank you, Babu Speaker. The sequence of events, as I understand it, the application papers were shared with us on Sunday evening before the notice of motion was submitted. And the notice of motion was a separate process that took place yesterday morning. So there were two parallel processes, and one of the arguments that were submitted by our legal team was that it was premature for the deputy mayor to approach court when the speaker has not even decided on the notice of motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those clarities. Councillors, there is a urgent caucus requested, but let me check that hand. Councillor Mngango, then we will decide. Councillor Mngango.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I hear now you are putting a motion for adoption, whereas I moved the amendment to the same motion. Are you going to table my amendment before a debate?
Okay, thank you. Let me check with legal whether an agent of motion like this can be amended. Babamhlong?
Speaker. Yes, before.
Before I get the opinion.
Point of before, yes.
Yes, Councillor Madlala, before I get the opinion. Councillor Madlala?
Yes, no, thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and greetings to all councillors, Amakosa Sendlunkulu, nazo zonke iphesheto. So that we are complete, when we are checking legal whether it is permissible to amend an urgent notice of motion. Also, the response should also entertain the fact that there was a circulation that was done to satisfy an unwritten rule in terms of our own rules. Also, the entertainment of the motion was in line with section 53(1) and our own rules in terms of section 22, so that the inclusion of the amendment does not then put us in trouble in terms of offending, in terms of what we were trying to comply with. That was just the addition from the ANC. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Madlala. Mr. Mhlongo?
Thank you, Somlom. The rule that deals with the possible amendments of motions is Rule 20, which deals with procedural motions. And it provides that a motion that has been moved and is under debate, there can be no further motion to that except for a motion that proposes that it be adjourned, B, a motion that proposes that the council proceeds to the next business, C, a motion that proposes that the matter be referred back, D, a motion that proposes that it amends the previous motion, or a motion that proposes that the matter be put to vote. So if it does not fall within those exceptions, then it's not provided for in the rules. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jomane. Mngango?
No, I disagree with the legal, Honourable Speaker. If you read 24, it talks about ensuring that it's relevant to the motion at hand. All I'm asking to this motion is that your removal of PG Mavundla and TM Kaunda. That's all I'm saying. I'm not changing the motion. All I'm saying is we remove deputy mayor and the mayor. That's all I'm saying. So that doesn't change the substance of the motion. So it does qualify according to the rule.
Iyona nto isukela eParliament leyo.
Thank you. Order, councillors.
Point of order, Mr.
Order,
Speaker.
councillors. Councillor Penn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With respect to what Mr. Malusi has just said, the introductory word says, where a motion or recommendation has been moved and is under debate, no further motion may be received. The motion is not yet under debate. So you could take an amendment at this stage. It's not yet under debate. We haven't started speaking to the motion. We haven't had any people for or against the motion. It's not up for debate yet. So we're still doing the preliminary processes for but it's not up for debate. No one has spoken to the motion yet. So with respect, that restriction of those 5 points does not yet apply. It's not yet up for debate.
Thank you. Mr. Mhlongo is noting all those comments. Let me check Councillor Ndlovu. He will respond after all the submissions. I note you that side, Councillor Ndlovu.
Speaker, we had already submitted because sesibona sesifakwe into esingangeni kuzona an agent caucus as the EFF. Siyacela.
Yes, Councillor Ndlovu. I will consider that, but I wanted to check these hands before I allow you a caucus so that you benefit out of the issues raised before you go to caucus.
Asingeni Speaker, sicela caucus, agent caucus.
Let me check, Councillor Gomeni.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Greetings to the councillors. Mine was to say, I heard the Honourable Councillor moving the motion. So the previous speaker saying that the motion had not been moved yet. I don't know where he was when the previous councillor was moving the motion.
Order, councillors.
Angikhulumi nani madoda.
Councillor Gomeni,
Sihambe
please.
nje.
Councillor Gomeni. Yeah, thank you. Njomane, please respond to the comments, then we make a decision.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm not sure which other step is between tabling and debating, because when it was time to commence with the debate, if any, the EFF requested a caucus. So I don't know if there is another step where you table and then we do something before a debate commences. So if there is, I stand to be corrected.
Speaker.
Thank you. In terms of the procedure, after the motion have been submitted, is to allow the move of the motion to confirm the motion. Then after that is to ask council whether they support the motion or not. Then after getting an indication, then if the motion is not being supported, then the mover will be given a chance to address council. Then later there will be a decision. That is the procedure. But the motion have been submitted to council. Let me check those last two hands at the back. I can see at the
Agent
back.
caucus.
Order, please. Order at the back there.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'm a bit confused, Speaker. We said that there was an interdict. Now, there was a motion before the interdict was put into place. What is the interdict saying?
Councillor,
in terms of,
you are not audible.
Speaker, can you hear me? Speaker?
Proceed.
Speaker, in terms of what was just tabled just now, we said that there was an interdict, and then we said, we said that there was a motion, and then we said it went to court yesterday and there was an interdict. Now, we're sitting here with the very same motion that was interdicted. And then in terms of that, how do we now move forward, Speaker? Please, for the sake of clarity and for those of us that don't understand legal jargon, to say that there was an interdict in terms of what is this council stopped from doing, and then how do we move forward from there? I think that needs to be clarified, Speaker. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Councillor Madlala, then Mhlongo.
Yeah, no, thank you very much.
Now let's start with Councillor Mngango, then you'll then
Kahle hle bekuyi-order, Babu Speaker.
to the previous speaker.
Councillor Said, yes. Because,
No, Councillor Madlala, let's do this.
yes,
Because Councillor Said made his point
okay.
till its conclusion without a point of order being raised. I have noted Mngango, then yourself, then Mhlongo, you will able to raise the point you want to raise during your time. Councillor Mngango, then Madlala, then allow Likan, then we decide on the issue, request of the caucus.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I think we must go back what Mr. Mhlongo is saying. Mr. Mhlongo is reading the section that talks about moving a further motion. I'm not moving a further motion here. I'm using section 24, where I talk about amending the motion. And this amendment was done, Honourable Speaker, before any debate started. It was submitted to yourself. So it can then be used and say a debate has started. It's immaterial for me whether it's been tabled or not tabled. The point of the matter here is I have actually tabled the amendment before you even open this council. So there's no excuse to use and say it's been tabled. So you should have entertained the amendment if Mhlongo believed it was supposed to be done before a debate or being tabled, because it was submitted long ago before even we started the council meeting. So I disagree with Mhlongo on this one.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Madlala.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Into ebeyenza ngifune ukushaya i-order lapha ku-Councillor Said bekuwukuthi ubaba uMhlongo emva kokuthi uSpeaker ekade ekhulumile udedele ubaba uMhlongo wachaza imiphumela yasenkantolo. Wayechaza wenaba wachaza ukuthi kwenzekeni uDeputy Mayor usise enkantolo wafike wawina wanikezwa i-interdict. Wachaza futhi ukuthi bichaza ukuthini leyo interdict, isivimbelo senkantolo besichaza ukuthini. Wachaza futhi ukuthi kungani ke kube khona isinqumo noma umbono from abantu bezomthetho ukuthi singakwazi ukuqhubeka siyilalele namhlanje na isethulo esiphuthumayo esiqhamuka kumntaka Masovish uKhansela uYang. Bechaza kulomhlangano sikhona la manje ngiyamangala mangabe sebuyele emuva mhlawumbe into ebekufanele ayicela uKhansela ukuze enzeka kungabe ngathi besingezwanga sonke ukuthi athi angizwanga ukuthi kuthiweni bese yachazelwa enzela special dispensation kungabe sengathi sonke la kulomhlangano asizwanga ukuthi kuthiweni ngaliyonto. Okwesibili bengifuna ukungena kubona Honorable Speaker iloko okukhulunywa ubaba uMncwango okokuthi ngisho kathiwa ama rules ayavuma ukuthi ungayiamenda emotion is in motion in terms of being debated. Inkinga ukuthi lento ebeyithi kufanele ukuqala emotion isubmit within 24 hours. Okwesibili emotion kufanele isirculate amongst all councillors. Isukela kulomthetho weagenda itself ukuthi awukwazi ukuvela ufike nendaba uzoyithi gadla phambi kwethu ungabanikezanga ama parties ithuba lokuthi akwazi ukuthi ayixoxe. Manje isethulo sika Councillor uMncwango siyayishintsha emotion one lebe submitiwe, two i-content ebeyisirculatiwe yafundwa amakhansela. Even motivation itself, because it does not then, it's not automatic ukuthi motivation for the removal of the deputy mayor is the same motivation for what he's proposing. Okusho ukuthi kufanele yena mekuthi unesifiso akade vese abanaso sokuthi akhiphe umeya akaqale eyakhe emotion iseve isikhathi sayo khona nathi unomeya ezo-interdicta yisenkantolo athole lesinqumo esithole udeputy mayor kubonakala ukuthi uyakwazi nokuchusha phansi kwaso njengoba sikwazile ukuchusha phansi kwalesi bese sifika la sesifike khona njengamanje angafuni ukugibela emhlane wale motion kaMntaka Masovish. Siyabonga.
Thank you. Order. Jomane.
Thank you, Speaker. I think what Councillor Mngango, he said he's disagreeing with me, so I have to respond to his disagreement directly. What he is losing sight of is that an amendment is referred to as a notice to amend. It's a motion. So when Rule 20 says there will be no other motion, it includes a motion to amend.
Yeah, thank you, councillors. Therefore, thank you, Jomane, for your clarification. Therefore, Councillor Mngango, your amendment won't be accepted. EFF, how many minutes are you requesting for caucus?
Speaker, I've never been answered.
No, say 10.
Come again?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Your request is granted. Let's give EFF 10 minutes to caucus. Thank you very much, councillor.
Speaker, point of order, Speaker.
Manje angibuki mina. Ayine point of order nje la.
Speaker, point of order. Speaker.
Ayithula wena. Ayine point of order. Hayi makubuya ngirecognize ke speaker ngikhona la. Angiyindawo.
Speaker, my question hasn't been answered.
Councillors, let's settle down so that we get the report from the outcome of the EFF caucus. Thank you very much. Let me hand over to the EFF to report back to council on the outcome of the caucus. EFF. Order, councillors, order.
Thank you very much, Speaker. We had a very successful agent caucus. We can report that. And what's about to happen, we can call it a case of the chickens coming home to roost. That's what I want to say with regards to this agent motion to deal with the issue of the deputy mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillors, we allowed EFF to go to a caucus after, in terms of the rules, I was about to ask Council whether the motion is supported or not. Is the motion supported?
Speaker.
Yes, there are hands at the back. And Councillor Mngango?
Honourable Speaker.
No, at the back first.
Speaker, I'm still coming back to the question I raised. I was not answered, Speaker.
I have already ruled on the question that the amendment that was proposed by Councillor Mngango is not accepted, and legal responded to your question, giving you the sequence of event on what happened in court. Therefore, as a Speaker of Council, I'm satisfied that we've complied with all the requirements as per our rules and the regulation. Therefore, I won't entertain any hands on the subject matter. Councillor Mngango?
Honourable Speaker, with due respect, you can't just disallow this question because legal was questioning the issue of doing so, debating before the debate takes place. It's okay. His argument can form part of a debate, but ANC can vote against the amendment, but you can't disallow the amendment because it was tabled on time as per the rules. Unless you want to breach your own rules, you are a custodian of these rules. You must make sure that you all follow these rules, including yourself. So on that basis, you disallow this motion, the amendment.
Yeah, thank you. Let me address you, Councillor. The reason why I disallow your proposed amendment is on the basis of the legal opinion I have received from legal that it would be wrong for me to accept this amendment. But the second reason why I don't allow your proposal is because I don't want to be in conflict with the rules of council and relevant regulations. I therefore think that if there is a need for Councillor Kaunda to be removed, it is within your right to use the very same rule used by Councillor Yolanda, send to me a motion, whether 24 hours before or an hour before council. Then the Speaker will consider that application. But today, what we have advanced or your argument or your reasons for the amendment Therefore, I have already ruled that I will not accept your proposed amendment because I'm afraid of being in conflict with the rules. Therefore, I rule. Let's proceed, councillors.
Speaker, point of order, Speaker. Speaker. point
Yes,
of order.
Councillor Said.
Speaker, I'm coming back to the fact that I'm a slow learner. Speaker, I asked a question, and it was a legal one. There is an interdict based on the motion. Can we get clarity from legal to say how is it now that we are moving this motion under what rules? Thank you, Speaker. That is my question.
Yeah,
Can
but
I have an answer, Speaker?
But that question was answered. I will allow.
No, Speaker. No,
I will
Speaker.
allow Mhlonga for the fourth time now to respond
Well,
on the
Speaker,
same thing.
unfortunately, I'm a slow learner.
Yeah,
I need to
let's
be
allow
told the
Njomane
fourth time.
to
Thank you,
respond,
Speaker.
but he has answered that question before. Mhlongo? Order, councillors, order.
Thank you, Speaker. I think the first point to bear in mind or to appreciate is that this interdict has got very little, if anything, to do with with the motion, because the application for this interdict was moved before even the motion came into existence. And it ran its full course. Parallel to that, there was a process where there was a notice of motion that was submitted to the Speaker. That is one of the reasons why our legal team submitted that the application before court was premature, because the Speaker had not made his decision regarding the notice of motion, which is, I don't know if maybe I'm already out of order.
Councillor Said, no, I won't allow that.
Speaker.
No, I won't allow that.
With all due respect.
No.
Speaker, it's a point of order, Speaker.
Listen, Councillor Said, listen.
Speaker, I've been listening to you, but you have to accept the point of order.
Listen. You raise your hand. I gave you a chance to address council. Councillor, Mr. Mhlongo now is responding to your question. While he's still responding, you are raising your hand.
Speaker,
I don't allow what you are doing. Let's allow Mhlongo to conclude.
Speaker, the interdict
Let's allow
says that
Mhlongo
this
to
motion
conclude,
can't be
please.
discussed in council
Mr.
today.
Mhlongo?
That's what the motion is saying. I mean, the interdict.
Let's allow Mhlongo to conclude. Mr. Mhlongo? Order, please, order.
Ngiyabonga, Speaker. I also went further to explain. I would like the councillor to pay attention, because he is the one who's finding it difficult to understand what took place. I went further to explain what the contents of the court order are. And I have detailed the steps that have been taken to comply with sections 47(1), 48(4), 53(1) of the Municipal Structures Act. I detailed the steps that have been taken to comply with 22(1), 22(1) capital letter A, 22(2) of the Rules of Order. I detailed the steps that have been taken to comply. No,
Proceed, Babu Jomane.
To comply with the principles that were laid by the Supreme Court of Appeal in the Ingquza Hill municipality. And each councillor had all those steps that were taken. And I also dealt with the legal advice that we received, which I have brought before council. Now, I am at a loss as to how clearer can I explain the process that has taken place thus far, Speaker.
Thank you. Let me take this last two hands, then Babu Mteta, then we proceed. Then three, right.
Thank you, Speaker. Just for the sake of clarity, does the motion put before you supersede the court order? Is it above the court order? I just want some clarity on that. Is it above the court order? And
Thank you.
is the court order exclusive? Or rather, are those motions excluded from this court order, the additional motions? Because we're looking for loopholes here, as far as I can tell. Thank you.
I don't know how many times this should be explained. Councillors, Mr. Mhlongo is saying, the order was saying, don't proceed to entertain the urgent motion without complying with the law and the rules of council. That was the order. Don't proceed if you are not in compliance with the relevant legislation and the rules of order. Now, as we are sitting here, councillors, we have complied with the legislation, we have complied with the rules. That's why we are here. The court order was warning us not to continue to entertain the urgent motion without complying with the law. We have now complied with the law. But if there is a strong view from any councillor or from any organization that entertaining this urgent motion is in conflict with the law or with the rules of order, any councillor or any organization is free to challenge us. It is within your right if you feel that doing this we are in conflict. But as a Speaker of Council, I'm satisfied with the legal guidance or opinion I have received. I'm satisfied with the compliance I've made with the rules that govern this council. I wanted to emphasize that because it has been mentioned a number of times. Councillor Mthethwa, then Madlala.
Thank you, Chair. I think we've spent almost 2 hours now having this back and forth about the legalities and all of that. I'm not going to go back there. My only challenge is that we are here discussing a motion and a court order, and I heard something about council having been cited in that application. Council is us, here as councillors. We are discussing a court order that was granted against us. We have not even had sight of that court order. We don't know what was interdicted, what was not interdicted. When are we going to have that court order so that we satisfy ourselves as councillors to say we are well within the law to proceed with this motion? Can we have the copies of that court order and be given time to read with understanding? If we have to consult our legal advisors, we also do that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mhlongo will respond. Councillor Madlala.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. In the interest of time, let me save what I wanted to say for later. Thank you.
Okay, Mwango.
Honourable Speaker, I really want you to make a ruling in line with the rules of order. The section 15E mandate you to ensure that council meetings are conducted in accordance with this bylaw, which is the rule of order. Now, you make an emotional decision in protection of the mayor. I understand he's a comrade, but I'm asking you to make a ruling in line with the rules of order, because I will accept your ruling, which is in line with the rules of order, but not based on your emotions. I want to make a ruling and quote the rule of order that allows you to disallow the motion. That's all I'm asking, because my understanding is you should be allowing a debate. Let council decide not to allow a motion, not you. Unless, based on the rule of order, you can quote for me which rule are you using to disallow this motion. That's all I'm asking you to do. I will respect your ruling in line with the rules of order.
Thank you. Jomane.
Thank you. Let me start with the issue raised by Councillor Mthethwa. Since I joined this municipality, which is about more than 11 years ago, each time there is any court action where the council is cited, it comes to legal unit. And we are employed to protect the interests of the council, and we have never come to the council with the court papers. We always come to the council with the report, and it is an offense and misconduct to mislead this council. And I'm an officer of the High Court, and I have a fiduciary duty to this council, so I would not come here with my gray hair to mislead the council. So you can take it from me, I can even be struck off by the Legal Practice Council if I come here to mislead the council. So the process has always been, we come here to report about what has happened, and in good faith, you as councillors accept that as accurate, because that is what I am employed to do. Secondly, to come to the issue that Councillor Mngango is persisting with, Speaker, the rule has already been cited. The rule is Rule 21, which says no other motion, and I think we have agreed that the amendment is also a motion. No other motion can be moved except a motion to adjourn the debate, to refer the matter back to council, or to propose an amendment of the previous motion, which there is none, or to put the matter to vote. So an amendment to suggest that you put another name onto the motion does not fall within these 5 exceptions. So that is the rule that the Speaker is basing his ruling on. And further, what Councillor Umadlala has made reference to, we have dealt with the principles that were pronounced in the Inguzahin municipality case by the Supreme Court of Appeal, dealing with the prior notice. So if there is an amendment to include another name, and there is no prior notice that has been given to the councillors and to the affected councillor, that would be in breach not only of the principles that were laid by the Supreme Court of Appeal, but even in breach of the principle that was laid by yesterday's decision, where we were clearly interdicted from dealing with the matters of removal without being in full compliance of the law.
Yeah, councillors, I've already ruled on your amendment, Councillor Mngango. Then I've said your amendment won't be accepted based on the guidance given by the legal, which is the rule that has been cited, Rule 20. Therefore, I won't entertain any hands on the matter, because already I have ruled not to accept the amendment. Councillors.
Order, Speaker. Order, Speaker. Order. Order, Speaker.
Councillor Mngango,
No,
order. If you want to raise a point of order on the same subject, let me appeal to you not to.
Then, Speaker, the clause you are using to make a ruling, it says where a motion or a recommendation has been moved and is under debate, there is no debate. I tabled the motion before a debate took place. I tabled the motion. I want you to acknowledge, I want you, Speaker, to acknowledge when you are received the issue of amendment. The issue of Nguza Hill is a debate that you can have. It's a matter of debate.
Let's allow me to finish. We are protected.
He must withdraw that word.
Order.
He must withdraw.
So, what I'm saying, Honourable Speaker.
Order.
Withdraw in, man. If you're on.
No, don't entertain. Please address Speaker.
Speaker, what I'm saying is the rule that legal is using talks about you can't move a motion when it's being tabled and moved. Now, I made an amendment before Honorable Young tabled or moved her motion. So I want you on record to acknowledge when you received my motion to amend the motion, because that's a critical point that you must have.
Order.
So all I'm saying is the issue raised now is a debate issue of a reference of another matter in the municipality.
Councillor Mngango, councillors, listen. I've already ruled on this matter twice, but I've allowed Councillor Mngango to question and discuss my ruling, which he knows very well that is wrong, because the ruling of the Speaker is final. If you are not happy with the ruling, you can go to court and challenge the Speaker. Therefore, I have ruled I will not accept your amendment. If you are not happy, you can challenge me in a court of law. Thank you. Councillors, let me check whether the motion is supported or not.
Supported.
Yes. I want to be clear. Is the motion supported?
No. The EFF supports the motion.
No.
Okay, I get an indication that there are those who don't support the motion. Let me allow Councillor Young to address Council, because not everyone supports the motion. Councillor Young?
Ngiyabonga Somlomo. Somlomo ekuqaleni kwale term of office ka 2021-2026 Municipal Council ya establisha ama committee to support the functioning as per statutory provision, one of which is the executive committee. All council committee are proportional basis, and the ANC have 5 seats allocated in the executive committee, one of which it's assigned to Councillor PG Mavundla from the APC. Although in terms of the proportional allocation, the APC didn't qualify for a seat in the executive committee. However, due to the provision of Section 43, subsection 2F of the Municipality Structures Act, which reads as follows, I quote, nothing precludes a political party or political interest from nominating a councillor from another political party or political interest to one or more of its allocated seats. Given the, close quote, given the above provision of the ANC, given the above provision, the ANC allocated 1 seat to Councillor PG Mavundla to be part of the Executive Committee and Chairperson of Human Settlement and Infrastructure Committee. We are noting that the Executive Committee is a strategic committee of the Municipal Councillor that has to be functional at all times to take decisions that fast-track the service delivery. It has been noted that the relations between Councillor Mavundla and the rest of the ANC component in the Executive Committee has deteriorated to such an extent that it has on a number of occasions brought a bad publicity towards the municipality in the media and in some of the meetings of the Executive Committee not being corrected. The Municipality Council further notes, we further note that there are several outstanding service delivery items that are attracting bad publicity with disputing views from the municipality, such as poor maintenance of the municipality infrastructure, state of Amabishi, water shortages, electricity, which continuously attract bad publicity. The delay of the process in finalizing such matter by the Executive Committee impact of the budget's expenditure. It's been noted that the municipality is currently halfway in its financial year, but the spending thereof is far from where it's supposed to be. It is for these reasons, Honourable Speaker, that these proposed changes be treated as an agent which cannot be held over, that come beginning of January 2023, the committee is reconstituted. To further indicate the deteriorating state of damage in relations between the ANC and the APC, the ANC has since learned from the mainstream media that Councillor Mavundla it's actually allegedly learned that Councillor Mavundla will allegedly join the Action SA party, which is not what was the initial agreement between the two. It is for those above reason contained in this motivation, Speaker, that the notice of motion be submitted on this urgent basis. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Yolanda, with that motivation. Let me at the screen, because we're going to vote now.
Slalo, I have my hand up.
Yes, Wabumtetwa.
Thank you, Chair. As the Democratic Alliance, we are not privy because the motion talks about the relationship between Councillor Mavundla and the ANC. We don't know what agreement was reached and what was the terms of that agreement. We therefore don't want to get involved in that, but especially with all the ambiguity when it comes to the processes that have been followed for this notice of motion to be tabled here, whether it is competent to serve here before this council now or not, based on the fact that there's a court order that we have not seen, we've only been told about it. It is for that reason that we will not be supporting this a notice of motion. As we speak, we are discussing a notice of motion against the member of
Babumtetwa, you
Council.
should have waited for me to allow you to vote. We are not yet there. I don't want us to discuss the motion. We are starting the voting process now. Don't discuss the voting.
Oh, so we will discuss the motion after voting.
No. Now,
A motion has been presented. We are now discussing it.
no, I'm saying to you, the issue of voting, we are going there. You can raise issues that you wanted to raise.
Angikuzwa ngempela, Speaker.
Proceed.
I am saying as it is now, we are discussing a motion against a council member. That council member has not been asked to recuse himself. He's sitting here. Are we compliant? For that reason, we're not going to be supporting this. Thank you very much.
Speaker.
Councillor Mngango, then there's a hand there. It's Pillay, then Hlengwa, then Pillay, then Hlengwa.
Honourable Speaker, can I get the order correct? Are we now debating the motion? Am I correct? We are now debating the motion.
No,
it's a question, Speaker. We are debating the motion.
Yes, we are.
Okay. No, that's okay. Thanks, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, let me just
No,
Point of order.
Yes.
Point of order. Again, I'm saying we can't be discussing this notice of motion with Councillor Mavundla here.
Okay.
Make a ruling on that.
Okay, the problem I have, Babo Mtetwa, I'm not sure which rule we are referring to.
It's conflict of interest.
But Babo Mtetwa,
A new rule.
Babo Mtetwa, the knowledge I have, we don't have such rule in our
That is
rules.
why you should not have rushed the process. There is an item here on our order of procedure which says, is there any councillor that we should declare interest? That is when the matter of Councillor Mavundla should have been raised to say he has an interest of what we're discussing here.
How do you know your interest,
Mr.
Speaker? Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah,
How do you know the interest of Mavundla wena?
Order, councillors. Let me, sorry, Councillor Mngango, let me allow legal to comment on this because I don't remember any rule that talked to that. Jomani? Order, councillors.
Thank you, Babu Speaker. The reason why we complied with Section 53 was because of the Nguzahil decision of the SCA, which says we must provide the notice of motion not only to the councillor concerned, but also to all councillors, to enable all councillors to engage and deliberate during the debate. What Ubabu Mavundla would be prohibited from doing could be voting because he's got a direct interest in the matter. But in terms of making his submissions and taking an opportunity to convince the vote one way or the other, there is nothing that is in breach in doing so. In fact, it's in fairness to him to protect his rights as a councillor. Thank you.
Yeah, therefore, Councillor Mtetwa, your point of order is overruled. It is correct for Councillor Mavundla to be in council meeting. Thank you. Councillor Mngango.
No, thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I think one must firstly put on record that it is incorrect
Point of order, Speaker.
drag.
Councillor Sabelo.
The point of order, Councillor Sabelo.
Oshiwe wena.
Councillor Mwango, please behave. Order, councillors.
Speaker, the order is not against.
Order, councillors.
The order is against
Councillors, councillors, order. Councillor Sabelo is on the floor. Please.
Thank you, Speaker. The order is not against Mngwango. The order is against you and your administration team that the minutes are not showing. We are now debating officially. So there should be minutes on the screen so that we know how much time Councillor Mngwango has. I'm actually protecting you.
Okay.
Angxoshiwe ngiredeployiwe ilanguage yaka ANC leyo. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Councillor Sabelo, your point of order is sustained. You are correct. My team, you should display those numbers, those minutes allocated to political parties. Councillor Mwango,
Speaker.
you are protected. You may proceed.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Speaker, the issue for me is I don't think how much 1 minute angizingeli ngomdlwane I mean. Issue ukuthi Honourable Speaker, it can't be ukuthi ANC when they want to
councillors.
remove when they want to
Councillors,
remove.
sorry, Babu Mwango. Please, let's allow him to address council because if you are making noise, it's difficult to hear him. Please. Proceed, Councillor
Ngivele
Mwango.
ngineminute bakithi. ANC can use Action SA to remove Councillor Mavundla. And it's incorrect because they know very well that the newsroom or the media that made a mistake did apologize for that mistake. At no stage, Councillor Mavundla intended to join Action SA. And the issue also which is surprising to us is that the ANC is not willing to remove the mayor in terms of the issue they are raising here of the crisis and issue of infrastructure and sewer problem in the eThekwini municipality. The head of municipality is the mayor. So, but you jump to the deputy mayor and you leave the mayor. But we want to put on record that we will put a motion against the mayor on this issue they are raising against the deputy mayor. But under circumstances, we will abstain on this motion because we don't believe we can accept it.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Pillay. Order, Councillor Pillay. Then I see you. I think it's Councillor Kule. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the DLC respects the legal advice of this motion. This motion speaks about a membership change of the Executive Committee. As the DLC, I want to express a very important view in respect of the Executive Committee seats of this Council. The EXCO seats of Council are determined proportionately by the total number of seats each party won in Council in the last election. When a party qualifies for an EXCO seat or many seats in EXCO, it becomes the prerogative of the said party to nominate members of the Executive Committee for which Council approves. Mr. Speaker, never in the history of this Council and for my 22 years experience of this Council that any nomination of EXCO members by any party were rejected because of the respective political party prerogative principle. Therefore, the DLC will support this motion on the basis that it is the party's prerogative to decide on its members they want to serve on the allocated seats in EXCO. Thank you.
Councillor Ntengwa.
Angibonge somlomo. Ngicabanga ukuthi abantu baseThekwini bazodumala ukuthi sispend isikhathi esiningi sibanga ukuthi uKhongolose ufuna ukuredeploy member yakhe ayise kwenye indawo. So njoba babevumelene eqaleni esikuzele la thina iservice delivery siningi isikhathi sesisimushile manje siyazi ukuthi fanele sikhankase sithola amavote anelihlalo. So uKhongolose mawusuthi uyayithatha into yawo uyamredeploy uComrade a discipline cadre will agree. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Xolo. Councillor Xolo.
No, mhlambe mina
Speaker.
Speaker ngifisa nje ukusiza to i-secretariat. Bengifisa ukusiza for no angikhuluma on the content therefore ngicela inamba ningayisebenzisi. Ngifisa ukusiza kuyinamba lezi ezibhalwe lapha mawenza uyihlanganisi ukuthi
they have forgotten ukuthi lawyer 179 bawuhlanganise nalabo 1 bama minorities ngalana, and then it will give you 189 as it is stand on the board. It is just an arithmetic, but I'm subjecting to be corrected. Kodwa, it is not a geometry or an algebra, it's just a simple arithmetic njena on the board.
Thank you. Councillor there, then Tantolo. Then Councillor can't see your name, then Tantolo.
Thank you. Thank you,
Start
Speaker.
there first.
Thank you, Speaker.
Order,
There's already an indication here that this motion has been caucused in the background, so the numbers will speak when it goes to the vote. However, the motion seems very frivolous, and there's a lot of political undertones that does not speak to the stability of the city. And it's very, very knee-jerking and very concerning. And with that, we're not going to be supporting this motion.
Thank you. Councillor Sabelo.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Greetings, Kwamakhosa Sendlunkulu, councillors that are present and officials. Honorable Speaker, the ANC supports this motion. It is indeed true that it remains a party prerogative to decide on the number of seats that it has won after every election. It is also very much true that it's the ANC that has won more seats than any other party here, and therefore has 5 members represented in the executive committee. And one of those 5 members, the ANC decided that it will not be a member of the African National Congress, it will be a member of the APC. Now, it is again the ANC's prerogative to decide whether or not any member occupying the seat of the ANC, whether they stay for how long and when to review such a decision. And as such, the ANC has decided to review a decision on 2 of its seats. One of the seat of the Chairperson of Economic Development and one of the seat of the Deputy Mayor. I do want to also put into context that the position of the Mayor is not under review in terms of the African National Congress and the view of the leadership. We still have much confidence in the Mayor that he is executing his duties and he is doing according to what is expected by the voters. What is also important to understand is that the Mayor is not an executive mayor. The Mayor is a chairperson of a committee and has similar powers to other members of the executive committee. It must be noted that 90% of the budget of this municipality sits in the portfolio of human settlements and infrastructure, a position I previously occupied. So it must be noted that once any ruling party is unable to explain what is happening where the majority of the budget sits, that ruling party has got to act. It doesn't matter whether it is acting against its own member or it's acting against any other matter. We as the ANC would have done so had it been even occupied by a member of the African National Congress. Because the voters out there hold the ANC to account, because the voters know that the majority party in this council is the African National Congress. I hope we understand what I mean when I say majority party. Now the voters hold the ANC to account. But if the ANC cannot account for 90% of the budget of the city, how is it expected to account to the voters of this municipality? Therefore, the ANC is doing the right thing by changing its executive and placing members which it believes will be able to account to the African National Congress. Therefore, as the ANC, we will support this motion and we will change the chairperson for infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Sabelo. Let me have the screen so that I get the indication of the numbers. I will start from the ANC. Please, Secretariat, please make sure that we record the numbers correctly. ANC.
Vota Mavundla. Wathatha ibudget yami.
Yes. what we are doing here, let me
ANC
explain this. Lower your hands. Lower your hands. Let me explain this. We are going to start with those who are in support of the motion, those who are saying yes. Then there are those who will oppose, there are those who will abstain. Currently, we are starting with those who are saying yes, so that you know what we are voting. Let's not make noise. Let's not make noise.
Akuvote no cameraman abavote.
Onane sobuye sibo.
Sikhumbule mabhida.
Siyakhala manje.
Sikhumbule mabhida.
Order.
I-cheating nje.
Isikhona esibuya ngomkhwezeli.
Thank you very much. Lower your hands. Those who don't support the motion. It's those who are against, yes. Yeah. That's why I said don't support. Yeah. Yeah. Those who are against the motion.
Okay. Then we move to our abstainer.
Yeah. Thank you very much, councillors. Let's move to those who abstain. Those who abstain. KZNI, you have not voted. But I must get an indication whether you abstain. KZNI. Where are you? Okay.
KZN, I support the motion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone have voted. Eh? Thank you very much, councillors. Those who are in support, who are for, is 125. Those who are against is 59. Those who abstain is 5. Therefore, the motion is being carried through. Thank you. Thank you very much, councillors.
Anigcini ngosihle.
Akabuyele endaweni yakhe.
Ihle nani Abaqosa qoqa. Siyakhala manje.
Anilungile nina?
Wena ulungile.
WoJudas nini?
Now uyakufuna
Wena wafuna DA uphathi wasuwelaxaza. Wena uScariot wena.
No Judas.
Thank you, councillors.
Into zabantu. Okumncango
Abamashe.
Yes, whip of council.
Akaqoqa. Kwathi uyosipakhithi.
Sibonga
Order,
Speaker.
order.
Sibingelele amakhosi asendlunkulu. uSpeaker, ama-members executive nama-council onke, ne-administration. Besicela nje 10 minutes we-caucus before i-report yakho.
Okay, thank you very much, whip of council. A request for chairman caucus from the ANC is granted. Thank you.
Niyolwa nje.
Into yomuntu umhluzi wempisi.
Awunikhohlakele. Awu.
Niyoxabana yikho nje.
Into yomuntu umhluzi wempisi.
Sorry, yeah. Councillors, let's settle down. The ANC is back from the caucus. I'm sure they are ready to report the outcome of the caucus before we proceed with the council agenda. Anyone who has seen Mr. Mhlongo? Oh, now it's a figure. Thank you. Thank you, Jomane. Let's get a report from the ANC on the outcome of the
Deputy Mayor.
caucus requested. Thank you.
The whip just went to the bathroom, Speaker. He'll be here in 2 minutes.
Oh, the whip is still. Can someone ask me to call anyone who's going to report on behalf of the ANC to come inside the venue because we are delaying council? Can I get those who are outside to come in, particularly those who are going to report back to council?
Niyamsaba khulumani.
Sabel.
Let's Councillor Lindiwe Mthembu, can you please go outside and look for the whip of council to come and back to the council room and report? Oh. We are waiting a report from the ANC caucus on the outcome of their caucus. But we, councillors, we have not yet elected the deputy mayor, but I see someone sitting next to the mayor.
Yeah,
I'm not sure whether rules allow that.
Vacuum in nature ayivumeli somlomo.
ANC, please report back to council.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for allowing us time to caucus. We also thank our other parties for not objecting to the ANC caucusing. Honorable Speaker, there is not much to report because we're not caucusing on any point on the agenda, but it was a housekeeping matter for the ANC, and we've resolved such. We are ready to continue with our meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Madlala. Councillors, let's proceed in the order of procedure. We should get the official announcement from the Speaker. But I want to mention before we proceed that on item 6, where the Speaker is to present the report to Council, that report will be presented later in the day or later in the agenda. Won't be presented now. I will present the announcement in terms of the procedure. Councillors are kindly requested to mind the cables passing in between the tables, and also avoid lifting up the delegates' microphones when talking, as this destabilizes the entire sound system. And also, councillors, for your safety, so that you don't get injured, please look at the floor when you move around. There are many cables that are connected. The eThekwini municipality mourns the passing of the senior manager for the EPWP in the office of His Worship the Mayor, the late Mr. Bongani Shope, who passed on the 6th of December 2022. He will be sorely missed for his outstanding work ethics, serving all selflessly. Condolences to the family, friends, and colleagues. He is being laid to rest tomorrow at his home in Harding. The city of eThekwini wishes its citizens and visitors a wonderful festive season. The city is ready and prides itself for developing a sound festive season management plan which will ensure everybody enjoy the attraction in the city of Durban in a safe and exciting manner. Over the weekend, we were overwhelmed with joy seeing the number of people enjoying themselves in Durban beaches. We say thank you to the eThekwini citizens and visitors for believing in the city of eThekwini. We are at your service. The city is also ready for the crime management perspective, as having hosted a 2-day crime and social cohesion summit on the 6th and the 7th of December 2022. This summit focused on strengthening our crime fighting strategies and building social cohesion communities. Councillors' attention is drawn to the fact that this is the last council meeting of the year. I would like to thank all councillors and officials for maintaining good work ethics, thus ensuring the municipal council fulfill its strategic objective in a bid to provide sustainable service delivery to our citizens. The municipal council is therefore going on recess with the effects from the 15th of December 2022 to 15 January 2023. Any matter requiring decision during this period will be dealt with in terms of Rules of Order 28 and therefore reported to the first council meeting in January 2023 for ratification purposes. The city of eThekwini joined the African. The city also congratulates the team of eThekwini for flying the municipal flag high at the recent held 2022 Salka Games in Newcastle, for scooping almost all medals and trophies, and for being the overall 2022 winners in these games. Congratulations and well done to the team. Councillors are reminded to conduct themselves in line with the provisions of the Councillors' Code of Conduct to ensure this meeting is conducted in a dignified manner and portraying a good leadership image to the residents of eThekwini. Best wishes to all councillors who celebrated their birthdays in November and celebrating their birthday this month. Thank you very much, councillors. We will now, councillors, request the city manager to present the applications for leave of absence. City manager.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The first leave of absence is from Councillor V.G. Reddy, who is not available from the 6th to the 15th of this month due to being on overseas trip. Councillor H.P. Shozi, not available from the 1st of this month to the 19th of this month due to personal commitment. Councillor P. Bindlovu, who's not available today, is indisposed. Councillor T. Mia, not available due to personal commitments only today. Councillor Shahid to leave at 12 p.m. for personal commitments. Councillor S.R. Modley to leave at 12 p.m. for personal commitments. Councillor T.N. Kielinzima, not available since yesterday and today, indisposed. Sorry. Councillor B.A. Mchunu, not available today due to personal commitments. Councillor S. Maharaj, not available today due to personal commitments. Councillor A.D. Beasley, not available today on overseas trip. All IFP councillors not available today due to personal commitments. Councillor Y. Governor, not available today. He or she requests to leave at 1600 due to personal commitments. Councillor M.H. Khan requests to leave at 3 due to personal commitments. Councillor T. Mohammed requests to leave at 3 due to personal commitments. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you very much, City Manager. Councillors, are all these leave of absence accepted?
Speaker.
Councillor?
Councillor Nceba Kielinzima angikhona. Ngibuyile.
Are you confirming that we are part of the meeting, but there's a leave of absence submitted? Okay, let's correct that. Let's correct that, City Manager. Councillors, are all the leave of absence accepted?
Accepted.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We will now, councillors, move to the declaration of interest. Councillor Majala.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I'm just worried, Speaker. I don't know where and how it's presented in the rules, but the conspicuous absence of the entire IFP caucus is a point for worry in this council. And this is not the first council that they are not. In the last council that was adjourned, the entire caucus was not in attendance. Is there a problem that we should know about as the council, or what is happening? Because it's you might think that because it's not a very big caucus in terms of numbers, but they represent a significant constituency in terms of the number of voters per seat. So if for 2 consecutive meetings the IFP caucus is just not here, what does that mean to those voters? It's a point of from a worry point of view, Speaker. I don't know if that is covered in the rules. If the ANC can just choose to upset itself, the entire caucus, I think the sky will fall. So I think maybe we should say something about that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Councillor Madlala. It is also a concern from myself as a Speaker of Council. Yes, it's true that in terms of our rules, there's no rule that talks to that, because whenever they're not part of council meeting, they do send their leave of absence, of which that is in compliance with our rules. But nevertheless, I don't think it's an issue to be ignored. I think we have to place it on record that the Speaker will engage with the leadership of the IFP to register the concern of council and also my concern, hoping that out of that engagement, the IFP will consider a factor that they've raised, Councillor Madlala. Thank you very much. Councillors, let's proceed with if there's any interest to be declared. No declaration of interest. Thank you very much. We will now, councillors, move to the confirmation of minutes of council. That was on the 27th of October, 2022. We will start with corrections first, if there are any corrections before we adopt the minute. The first page is 10 to 8 is the attendance register. Any corrections? Second page is 1029, 1030. Just raise your hand if there's something you want to correct. 1031, 1032, 1033, 1034.
Speaker?
Yes, Councillor Mkiza.
No, thank you, Speaker. Yeah, the correction is on, 1034, section 6.6.3.
Which paragraph?
Paragraph 6.6 and further down to 6.6.3.
Or page 1035.
No, 1034.
1034, right? 6.6, eh? Yes, the correction?
Yes, the correction, it is on a Councillor Sibisi. His name was spelled incorrectly. He is Councillor Siboniso Sibisi, not Sibonelo.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Mkiza, for the correction. The correction will be captured. Thank you.
And also, Speaker, on the same page, further down under section 7, councillors that were not in presence. So, Councillor G.D. Clarivert, he was recorded twice.
Okay.
And Councillor Oli Samdlazi was also submitted a leave of absence, and it was acknowledged that she was not in the meeting, but is not reflecting in the minute.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Mkiza.
Thank you.
For those corrections. 1035, 1036, 1037, 1038, 1039, 1040, 1041, 1042, 1043, 1044, 1045.
I move for the adoption.
1046, 1047, 1048, 1049, 1050, 1051, 1052, 1053, 1054, 1055, 1056, 1057, 1058, 1059, 1060, 1061, 1062, 1063, 1064, 1065, 1066, 1067, 1068, 1069, 1070, 1071, 1072, 1073, 1074, 1075, 1076, 1077, page 1078, 1079. I think it's Councillor Mate or Uchangas. Uchangas, please behave. 1079, 1080, 1081, 1083, 1084, 1085, 1086, 1087, 1088, 1089, 1090, 1091, 1092, 1093, 1094, 1095, 1096, 1097, 1098, 1099, 1000, 1101, 1102, 1103, 1104, 1105, 1106, 1107, 1108, 1109, 1110, 1111, 1112, 1113, 1114, 1115, 1116, 1117, 1118, 1124, 1125, 1126, 1127, and the last page, 1128. There are no corrections. Will now request a hand to move the adoption of the minutes and the second. I see Councillor Changasa's hand is up. Councillor Changasa?
I move for the adoption of the minutes, Speaker.
Oh, okay. You wanted to move before we make correction in the Council Power? Yeah, thank you very much. The minutes have been moved and seconded. Thank you very much, councillors. Councillors will now move to item number 10 on reports. I will now request His Worship the Mayor to please table the executive report. His Worship.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to Skhuleke Makosa Sendlunkulu, all councillors present, and our officials led by the City Manager. We wish to table the first report of the Executive Committee to your House. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kaunda, Mayor. I will now invite the City Manager to present the items as contained on the ESCO report. Over to you, Mr. Mpele, City Manager.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Speaker.
There's someone, yes, Councillor.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Before we continue, can we be taken into confidence either by the City Manager or the Mayor regarding the issues that were raised in the previous council of the people that are still sheltered in halls, of the swimming pools that are dry, as to how far are they in terms of dealing with those issues? Because this was the critical issue that was raised here, and we expected that we were going to be given any reports as to how far are they in terms of dealing with those issues. Speaking now, there are still people who are sheltered in various halls, and as we said earlier, there was a commitment which was made. There's all of those people before Christmas, they were going to be reallocated and be offered decent accommodation. So before we continue with the business of the day, it cannot be business as usual. Let's deal with these issues. There are people that are still sheltered in the Shallcross Community Hall, which is Ward 71, Montfort Community Hall, Ward 73, Bellington Community Hall, Ward 65, Bayview Community Hall, Ward 69, Shall Cross Community Hall, Ward 71, Yellowwood Park, Intlongwane Hall, Ward 54, Emachobeni, Inanda, Newtown, Ward 44, Chesterville Library, Ward 24, Amawoti, Ward 53. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor. I know that you are aware that we are out of order. You are doing this deliberately, knowing very well that we are out of order, but while we are raising very critical and important issues that need to be responded to and clarified, but there's a process how council handle such matters. Even such a request should be presented in accordance with the rules, not the manner you are making that submission, because the relevant committee of human settlement and infrastructure, that is the committee that should discuss those issues, come up with proposals and plan and present it to relevant issues. Although you are out of order, but what I'm going to do, because of the issues that you are raising, at the end of my agenda, I will request the mayor and the members of the executive to say something specifically on the issues you are raising, but at the end of the agenda. This is my ruling. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker.
The minutes have been adopted. The report have been presented. I think City Manager, you are about to present the report. Yeah, City Manager, over to you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The first report I'd like to present before Council is the report of the Executive Committee meeting, which was held on the 15th of the 11th, 2022. First report is that of the Human Settlements and Infrastructure Committee for their meeting, which was held on the 11th, on the 8th of the 11th, 2022. Item 1.1, request for authority to transfer the Human Settlements Unit land owned in Phoenix Infill Project to the relevant line department. Committee recommends. This is on page 5.
Thank you very much, City Manager. I've got speakers on the first report. The first speaker is Councillor S. Singh and Councillor B. Mwengwe. Councillor Singh.
Thank you, Speaker. We as the Democratic Alliance welcome this report from the HSI Committee on transferring lands that was zoned for infill housing back to council, and also for parks and gardens to maintain. This item was long overdue and actually a great start, and hopefully more infill housing lands are identified and given back to council. In January, I put a motion which was agreed for consideration to allow community participation to have a much bigger role to play when it comes to infill housing popping up anywhere and everywhere in Phoenix. Don't get us wrong, we as the Democratic Alliance, we believe that there should be more housing for people in eThekwini, but also believe that we should do what we can to save the play lots and sports fields that were zoned for SR 180. This was a blanket approach when the infill housing project started in Phoenix, where every land in Phoenix was allocated for infill housing. But there was no community participation or research done to identify which were play lots and sports fields. If the people of Phoenix were first consulted, I'm sure there will be sufficient land that the community of Phoenix would have agreed for infill housing projects to be erected at. We can continue to be a caring city by doing the right thing and retaining other infill sites, even those that are sold off privately. We should fight and get them back for the future generation of Phoenix, which is a diverse community. We need to save play lots like Nedland, Cradland, Grenland, Berrystone, Tweedford, Hawkstone, Stoneham Grounds, Arnhem. There are many more to mention, Mr. Speaker. I would request the HSI committee to do oversight at these playlots and sports fields and see how the community maintain them. Mr. Speaker, with 70% of this list belonging to Ward 52, we hope these lands will be maintained by Parks and Gardens and no excuse of budgets to maintain, as human settlements always had an excuse of waiting period of 1 to 2 years. Again, Mr. Speaker, we welcome this report, but we certainly know that the HSI committee can do even more to save the playlots and sports fields for the residents and future generations of Phoenix. I thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Councillor Singh, Councillor Pim Ngwengwe.
Siyabonga Somlomo. Siyafisa ukubonga isinqumo esithathwe ikomiti lokuhlaliswa kwabantu eThekwini ukuba siconsider umhlaba lo lapha ePhoenix obekade ungaphansi kwa Human Settlement and Infrastructure ngokuba qhutshekwe nokwakhelwa kwabantu bakithi izindlu kodwa ngenxa ukuthi siyabona ukuthi kunegebe elikhulu elikhona ukuba lo mhlaba ubuyiselwe ekomidini lakwa Parks and Recreation uqinisekisa ukuthi njengoba siqhubeka nokwakha izindlu on the other side siqinisekisa ukuthi ama recreational facilities ayakheke endaweni ukuze abantu bakithi bangabi nezindlu nje kuphela kodwa babe nazo indawo zokungcebeleka ukhongolose uyasupporta lesinqubo siyabonga.
Yeah, thank you very much. Councillors, is the recommendation agreed? Thank you. City Manager.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The next report is report number 1.2, which is the noting of reasons to amend contract 1H31415 in terms of section 1163 of the Local Government Municipal Finance Management Act of 2003 pertaining to Konubia Integrated Housing Project Phase 2B to extend professional services contract project management services to complete Konubia Housing Project Phase 2A. Committee recommends.
Thank you, Mr. Mpele. Councillors, is the recommendation agreed?
Yes.
Thank you. City Manager.
Item number 1.3, request for approval to enter into a contract with 3 non-profit organizations to facilitate and manage projects funded through the Public Employment Program. Committee recommends.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mpele. I've got few speakers. Councillor Said, Councillor Mwango, Councillor Kumete, Councillor Pratseth, Councillor Ndlovu. The last is Councillor Chimakanya. In that order, Councillor Said. Is Councillor Said in?
Withdrawing, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Mwango.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, the main concern...
Sorry, Mwango, please switch off your microphone at the back. Thank you. Mwango, proceed.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. One needs some clarity on this item because it talks about Section 67 of Finance Management Act, which only refer to accounting officer transferring funds, but doesn't state exactly how these organizations were actually appointed or chosen. And I think one needs some clarity on that before we just agree, because it is a good initiative, but one needs to understand how these 3 organizations were actually chosen by the municipality. If such recommendation can refer to a section that has been used in appointing the organization, be better. It's just silent on the process how they were actually appointed. That's really our concern.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mwango. Councillor Kumete.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the ACDP notes the report with a serious concern around the awarding of this contract to these NPOs. The ACP consider this critical, especially because it is not just about employment, but a skill that can last for the future. Furthermore, our concerns are on the nomination process. Why these organizations are not localized as it will be contributed toward growing the local economy. The SADP believes the municipality should give priority to the recognition of the normal and local NPOs from the local communities. This ACDP will not support. May God bless our city.
Thank you very much. Councillor M. Prasad.
Thank you, Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we at the Democratic Alliance know the report. We also have concerns regarding this item. We do understand that it is national funding and it is aimed at uplifting informal settlements, which is well needed. We too are concerned how these 3 NGOs were nominated and if they are locally based. With that said, Mr. Speaker, excuse me, we will be monitoring this item, these NGOs. The PEP program already has had its own fair share of issues where delayed payments to beneficiaries, to lack of PEE, and endless miscommunications. So we do welcome this report and we will support this report, but we will be monitoring it and we're requesting to have quarterly updates as we go along. Thank you, Speaker.
Yeah, thank you very much, Councillor Ndlovu.
Ngiyabonga Somlomo. Nathi njenge EFF sithi asincome kakhulu iqhaza lidlalwa umkhandlu eqinisekiseni ukuthi ulusha lalapha eThekwini liyakwazi ukuthola amathuba emisebenzi. Again nanokuthi indawo ezikhethekile indawo esemakhaya la abantu esibona noma eseyindaweni la sibona khona ukuthi abantu engazathi basahlwempu kancane, so lokho kuyasijabulisa kakhulu rather than ukuthi mhlambe ziyiswe nje komhlanga, lokho bekungasixaka kakhulu. So lokho sikushayela ihlombe njenge EFF ngicabanga ukuthi initiative enhle. Kodwa ke njengokujwayelekile ke ontaba kayikhonjwa bahlale benayo into okufanele ibhekwe kubona ngoba uma ubheka lapha yana some of these things i-process nayo siyafuna ukuyithola ukuthi ihambe kanjani.
Does this include your wife, Councillor Ndlovu?
Ama projects lawa ahamba.
Councillor Ndlovu, does this include your wife?
Yes, it does. So lokho obonayo ukuthi ama-project ayahamba kuyaqondana iya e99 kwaze kwaqondana bo ukuthi lana le mali lena iye e99 kunama by election noma kube nale project kunama by election singasho ukuthi bangahlomulani base 99 ukuthi nje kuphela sesihlale sinigadile ngoba siyanazi nihlale niganga. Siyabonga Somlomo.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ndlovu. Councillor Makhanya.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Njenge ANC ngifuna ukugcizelela nje ukuthi siyayisupporta i-item because i-item iyacacisa ngokusobala ukuthi uhulumeni uyimisele kangakanani ukulekelela noma uqinisekisa ukuthi njengoba sike sashawa i-COVID-19 nangokomnotho u-ANC uyaqinisekisa ukuthi umnotho sikwazi ukuthi sirecover siphinde si create namathuba omsebenzi njoba sazi ke nokuthi baningi kangakanani nabantu abalahlekelwa amathuba omsebenzi emva kokuba sike salinyazwa i-COVID-19. So i-ANC ivumelene ukuthi cha le item asisupporte kakhulu because izolekelela abantu bakithi kakhulukazi abamnyama ekuyibona abagqilazeke kakhulu. Yabonga.
Thank you very much, Councillor Makhanya. Councillors, is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you very much. There are those who are not in support. Let's have the screen, please. Let's have the board.
Honourable Speaker.
No, we're voting.
I was hoping to get a clarity. Simply clear it for record how the process went. It shouldn't be difficult. How they were nominated, how they chosen. City manager must be able to respond to the question for councillors to make a decision.
Councillor Mwango. when we are in my speakers list, you submit your argument in an item for debate. After all those who have submitted their name to speak, if you don't find a response, the speaker can't give you those answers. In terms of the procedure, if there are those who are not in support of the item, for me, it will subject the matter on vote, of which is what I'm doing now. Therefore, I can't give you an answer if there's no answer that satisfies you. Councillors, let me let's get the board, those who are in support.
Honourable Speaker, I think it's fair for council to
No.
understand the process.
Councillors, because councillors are those who are saying they don't support order, because there are those who are saying they don't support the item, I have to divide the house, unless if everyone support the item. Let me ask the question again. Councillors, is the recommendation agreed? Agreed. Okay, they are saying no. Let's have the vote. Right, let's tell those who are in support. Those who are saying yes.
Uzosala wedwa emncango. Awumfundisi wadlala umuntu wayengekho. Phawula izinto ongazazi awungekho la. Saloku sidivider. Bese nakuma
Hey right Gabo Mosi ungaka
Musaloku ngixova nechairperson wami bakwethu.
Thank you very much. Those who are against, those who are against. Thank you. Those who abstain.
Hey, uyathabisa lo baba.
Thank you very much. ACC, we don't get your indication. Where is ACC?
Right here.
Are you
abstaining? Abstaining. We raised our.
ACC is abstaining. Yeah, thank you very much. Can I have the numbers, Secretariat? Thank you very much. Those who are in support, 180. Those who are against, 2. Those who abstain, 5. Therefore, the motion or the report is being supported by the majority. It should be carried through. Thank you very much, City Manager.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We now move to item 1.4, the reallocation of funds across capital budget. Committee recommends.
Thank you very much, City Manager. Item 1.4, I do have speakers here from ACC, Councillor Said, Councillor is currently Councillor Warren Ben and Councillor Tsundwane and Councillor Soga, in that order.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I think we always see these sorts of things coming up to Council for reallocation of funds. Now, the question for us firstly is that we speak about savings. What savings are we talking about when we actually have budgets for things that we don't use monies for? So in terms of this year, Speaker, we don't support this move to reallocate funding due to the fact that when we're saying it's savings, we're actually taking funds from some other project that could not be fulfilled, and we're moving it to somewhere else, which is knee-jerk movements across the board, and that's not sustainable for us to run a council or municipality per se. So with that, Speaker, we as ACC do not support this reallocation of funds.
Thank you very much, Councillor Seth. Councillor Protes. Yeah, there's a message here that amendment seconded by Councillor Warren. Is there any amendment submitted? I don't have an amendment here. I don't.
Mr. Speaker, can I insist?
Yes, Councillor.
The intention was for us to propose an amendment to this section, which should have happened, I concede, before the debate started. But it's a very, no, not minor. It is a significant, but a change of few words, and it's the one which we passed at the council meeting last month, where we changed the words savings to unspent funds. If I can refer you, my colleague, Councillor Borders, has the notice of the proposed amendment, but I'll tell you what it says. On the third line of paragraph 1, stop 4, stop 1, to substitute the words unspent funds for the word savings, and similarly in the third line of 1.4.2, I thought it would be churlish of me to point out when we're going through the minutes that that very amendment was proposed and accepted by this council without any problems at the last meeting, and hopefully eventually the penny will drop with the municipality that what we're doing in these resolutions is not allocating savings but allocating unspent funds. So through you, Chair, to the city manager, please can I ask him to give a directive to the staff when they put these resolutions together that they identify whether it is in fact a saving or unspent funds. So my request then is to ask an indulgence to allow that amendment to be put at this stage, even though the debate has technically started by the first speaker.
Yeah.
If we miss out on this time, it won't be fatal, but maybe we can do it later in the resolution. Or maybe the city manager himself would like to suggest the amendment to use the words unspent funds instead of savings.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Councillor Penn, besides that, the debate has already started. But we are correct in saying that this matter was discussed and resolved in council. Therefore, it's just for our secretariat to correct that, and in future to make sure that the words they are used words as per the council resolution. I don't think that is a matter that I should subject to a debate because it's an existing council resolution. But it's an appeal and to place on record to our secretariat to use those words correctly. Thank you very much. Councillor Nsundane. Councillor Sisoga.
Sebonga Speaker, I think it is important that we start by highlighting that electricity serves as a basis for satisfying fundamental human needs. Ngoba siyazi ukuthi ukuze sikwazi ukuthola amanzi sidinga ugesi ukuthi ukwazi ukuthi uphampa amaphampu kanjalo ne-food production. So ke kuyiqiniso ukuthi there were projects that were budgeted for. However, ngenxa yezizathu zokuthi amanye have been sitting for too long and our contracts have not been awarded, amanye asenkantolo, and we are all aware that a litigation process can take isikhathi eside ukuthi aqedwe. Ingalesi sizathu ke sibukile ukuthi kunokuthi abantu bahlale bengenawo ugesi while we have ama-pump stations that singakwazi ukwalungisa ngale mali esibiza ngokuthi ama-savings ewu-12 million. Let's rather than use that money ewu-12 million ukulungisa amanye ama-substations azokwazi ukuthi siqinisekise ukuthi ugesi uyafinyelela ebantwini. Therefore, we do not deprive them of their basic human rights abhalwe kwi-constitution. So njengombutho ke ka-OR Tambo sithi le siyayisupport ukuthi let's utilize those savings for a project le sikhuluma ngayo yase Jameson Park substation and Clare water transformer ukuthi abaqhubeke. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Soga. Councillors, is the recommendation on 1.4 agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you, City Manager.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Item 1.5.
Speaker, 1.4, we were not supporting that.
Item number 1.5. Motivation to increase, motivation for increase in operating budget for 2022-2023 financial year. Committee recommends.
Yeah, thank you. The first speaker is Councillor Said, Councillor Pillay. There's a minute donated to Councillor Pillay from the TA, Councillor Ngomeni, Councillor ZP Mieni, and Councillor Sesoga. Councillor Said.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, in principle, we must support this as ACC. However, the points that we'd like to bring up...
Please try to speak closer to your mic.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, we must support this in principle due to the fact that it affects service delivery in our city. However, the items listed here would speak to a lack of proper planning and forecasting within our city, whereas these items here would have been an annual issue for us. Why is it now that we're bringing up these issues of road reserve maintenance, stormwater inspection, stormwater cleaning, and we're requesting budgets for it? These things need to be done timeously and should never ever be brought up in council for reprioritization of funds so that we can basically achieve the basic needs of our city moving forward. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Councillor Pillay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The DLC welcomes the recommendation and the recommendation of the next item 1.6, also that seeks to get additional funding for the stormwater cleaning, roads, reserves, and sidewalk maintenance. Mr. Speaker, it is no secret that since the catastrophic flooding that have occurred in April 2022, infrastructure damages in terms of potholes on our roads and blocked stormwater main lines and inlets have created an unprecedented inconvenience to our ratepayers, residents, and business alike. Our ratepayers' outcry of non-service delivery is justified, and that urgent funding was needed to rehabilitate the damaged infrastructure. However, Mr. Speaker, the DLC wants to place on record it is rather unfortunate that this recommendation of increasing the funding for repairs to infrastructure during the April floods have only come in now, 8 months later. This speaks volumes on the current inefficiencies we are faced with in terms of addressing service delivery. It's something that we need to look at very critically on how to prevent this from happening again. Mr. Speaker, the DLC requests the Mayor to exercise firm oversight by ensuring that these critical urgent service delivery repairs and maintenance are done urgently and with quality workmanship. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pillay. Councillor Miene.
Sibonge Speaker Ithuba. As a National Freedom Party, we support on the basis that we have a slogan that says nothing else but service delivery. We have acknowledged most of the challenges that we have in our city due to the challenge of infrastructure. And we are saying as the NFP moving forward, we need to make it a point that as councillors, we come close with the oversight. Ngoba most of the time, sihlala la, sivumelane ngokuthi sokwenza ini, only to find ukuthi ezinye izinto azenzeki accordingly. Yet imali sinayo, sithole some of the members of executive behambe bebabaza njengomphakathi instead of coming with constructive things ezizokwenza ukuthi at the end of the day sithi sonke as councillors we are here in our term, we have made a mark. So as the NFP we support sabantu bakithi because these are the challenges ababhekene nawo ukuthi infrastructure ilungiswe. Siyabonga.
Thank you, Councillor Miene. Councillor Swaga.
Sibonge kakhulu Speaker. Ngicabanga ukuthi sonke siyaqonda ukuthi ukubaleka kwengqalasizinda esikakhulukazi imigaqo ne contribution yayo ekutheni sikwazi ukusimamisa ezomnotho wezwe ngoba okuningi uma ngabe umgaqo ulungile kukhinyabeza economy. So ke lenkinga esikhuluma ngayo namhlanje iyinkinga edaleke ngesikhathi kwakudala seCovid ngenxa yokuthi imali esasiqoqa kuba ohlali baseThekwini engenele ukuthi sikwazi ukubhekana nokulungiswa kwengqalazizinda yethu. So ke kwasiqaleni imali ekade budgetiwe ibincane okudala ukuthi ke sikwazi ukuyisebenzisa kwi-first quarter ibisiyaphela. Ngakho ke ukuphela kwale mali if namhlanje sikwazi ukwenza adjustment kuzoshiya sisesimweni la esingakwazi khona ukwenza imisebenzi yokumaintain imigaqo yethu, ukulungiswa kwamapayipi, ama-potholes njalo njalo. So kubalekile ukuthi namhlanje sikwazi ukwenza le adjustment ukuze sikwazi ukubuyisela ingqalazinda yethu esimeni esiright esizoba nomthelelo ekutheni kuthuthuke ezomnotho waseThekwini. Therefore, we support this item as African National Congress. Thank you, Speaker.
Councillors, is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed. Angikhulumanga somlomo.
Siyabonga kakhulu, City Manager.
Angikhulumanga nje somlomo.
Item number 1.6.
Oh, apologies, Councillor Gomeni. I should have called you before, Councillor Omieni, but because it's a mistake of the Speaker, of which I admit and I apologize, I'm sure you'll understand that it was not intentional, but I would request that you agreed that we proceed, because going back to allow you to debate a matter that has been approved already by Council will be totally wrong and out of order, but I beg that you accept my apology and we proceed with the meeting. I'm sure Babu Komeni.
Zikhale banjeni kulungile siyabonga.
Thank you very much. Apologies again, Councillor Komeni, for that. It was an error from my side. Thank you. City Manager.
Item number 1.6, motivation to increase operating budget for the Coastal Stormwater and Catchment Management Department. Committee recommends.
1.6, thank you very much, Mr. Mpele. Councillors, is the recommendation agreed? Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, just a small correction on the financial implications under recommendations 1.6.4.
But Mr. Pillay, the agenda was sent to all of you in time. You should have raised or submitted your name as a speaker on the item. I don't have speakers on the item, but I can see that you insist you want to address Council. You can speak.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a correction on the financial implications. Under 1.6.4, the amounts are reflected as thousands. It should be millions. So we need to include the rand in millions under the financial.
Under 1.6.4.
That's correct.
Yes.
Thank you.
Correcting the numbers. Thank you very much, Councillor Pillay, for that. The recommendation has been supported to agree already. City Manager, let's proceed.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Item number 1.7, request for approval and implementation of the eThekwini Road Safety Plan for 2022 to 2026. Committee recommends.
Item 1.7, I've got speakers in my list, Councillor Said, Councillor Klute, and Councillor Chudi. In that order, Councillor Said.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, with regard to item number 1.7, we are in agreement that something needs to be done in terms of road safety, but I don't think it's actually awareness campaigns, but it's actually fixing the roads and the curbs and all of those things. So in terms of this, Speaker, we'd like to push forward to item 1.7.3, where indeed it says that a separate report to address funding allocation will be submitted to the Human Settlements and Infrastructure Committee. I think more emphasis needs to be needs to be put into repairing infrastructure instead of awareness, because why would we need awareness when we don't actually have infrastructure to be aware about? Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Said. Councillor Klute. Councillor Chuli.
Sibonga somlomo. inhloso ngqangi yale program ubuhle bayo sizophathelwa bakwa-ATA kanye naba South African Road Trafficking. Inhloso yayo ukuletha uqeqesho nokunciphisa izingozi emgwaqeni njengokulimala nokushona kwezingane zesikole. Izombandakanya abazali, omalume, ama-caregivers kanye nothisha ukubona uqeqesho umuntu uma ejoba umgwaqo kufanele ujumbe kanjani la kunengozi khona. Lolu kuhlelo oluhle aba-ETA kuzoba khona izinto ezifana nemidlalo yeshashalazi eyobilekelethe izingane zifundise imigwaqo iwela kanjani. Sizolekelelwa laba city police thene mhlambe siqeqeshelwe ukuthi kube khona laba abazojumbisa izingane emgwaqeni ukuze bazi umgwaqo fanele ujumbe kuphi la kungekho khona ubungozi. Ukuze izingane zihloniphe umgwaqo nawo umgwaqo kumele uhlonipheke. Kuzoba khona izimpawu emgwaqeni ama sidewalk nama speed humps. Ecebo nama speed humps uma efakwa kungazi kube khona ukushona ukuthi sekushona abantu abangana kuze kukhona ama speed humps. So ANC lolu hlelo siyalamukeza lisupport ngoba nakhona komalume kuzohamba ekhambe nakhona kube khona imiklomelo abazoyithola izimoto zabo zifaka ama tracking device kubothi umalume ijubane libe lingakanani kube khona imiklomelo abazoyithola njengo-ANC lolu hlelo luhle siyalisupport. Ngiyabonga speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Thuli. Councillors, is the recommendation agreed? Thank you, City Manager.
Thank you, Speaker. We are now on to the direct report of the same meeting. Item 2.1 on page 27. Authority to issue MOVO cards to the public at no cost for a limited period due to the mandatory requirement to replace expired cards. Committee recommends.
Thank you. I've got Councillor Eskumete and Councillor Kaunda, His Worship the Mayor. Councillor Kumete.
Angibonge Somlomo. Somlomo njenge ACDP lolu hlelo siyalinotha futhi siyalibona ukuthi aliqala ukufika la kwi council. Sokokwesibili libuyela ngokuqala laphinda ngonxa yokuthi kwakhona iamount ya 1 million. So njenge ACDP siyakholwa ukuthi uhlelo njengalolu kufanele kube uhlelo olusiza abantu kakhulu oluqhakambisa kakhulu izidingo zabantu, especially njengoba sibhekene kakhulu nesikhathi la khona abantu bebhekene nohlwempu nokuntula kwabantu kwezomnotho. So njenge ACDP thina sithi asihambisana nalo hlelo ngalokho ngeke support ngenxa ukuthi ziningi izidingo zabantu ezikhona abantu benza ubuqhophololo babo ukufenza izidingo zabo. Siyabonga Somlomo.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kumete, His Worship the Mayor. Councillor Kaunda.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Firstly, the ANC welcome and support the report on the basis that what was requested by councillors in terms of the expenditure have been ratified. Thirdly, the issue of thinking for the poor, because we talk about the reissuing of cards here. So if you say you don't support it, are you implying that the council must charge people? So if we care for the poor as the ANC, as a caring organization, we fully support that we incur this cost, this expenditure, so that we are becoming more responsive to the aspirations of people of eThekwini. The other issue which is very important, Honorable Chair, is that we continue to carry a responsibility to provide our communities with the affordable, efficient, safety public transport. So that must continue. This is the report that intends to respond to that plight of the poor. We support the report.
Thank you very much, Bob Mayor. Councillors, is the recommendation agreed?
No.
They are saying no. Let me have the screen, please.
We abstain.
Let me have a screen for record purposes. Those who are in support, those who are saying yes to the item. Have to raise your hand.
Dlalo Nyambose la.
Yeah, thank you, councillors. Those who are against the item? Those who are against?
Amisa phela mthetho.
Thanks. Those who abstain?
Ngonyaka ozayo wena mthetho.
Councillors, according to our records here, we haven't seen the report from the APF. May I get an indication, APF, are you in support, against or abstain? APF? They are not here. Is the APF present in the meeting? No, they're not. Thank you, they're not here. Thank you. Let's add the numbers, colleagues. Thank you very much. Those who are in support, 126. Those who are against, 2. Those who abstain, 49. Therefore, the item will be carried through. Thank you very much, City Manager.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Next item is item 2.2 on page 28, approval of the eThekwini Municipality's top strategic risks for 2022-2023 committee recommends.
Thank you, City Manager. Councillor Pillay, you are the first with a minute donated by TA. Councillor Mthethwa, you will be the second, and Councillor Kaunde will be the last. In that order, Councillor Pillay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when the DLC analyzes the report, we picked up that fraud, theft and corruption is listed as the 8th strategic risk factor. Mr. Speaker, we should not be classifying this risk as least important when we have critical issues in terms of fraud and corruption in the city that needs to be addressed. It is the view of the DLC that fraud, theft and corruption should be listed as the #1 strategic risk and is key in getting our city back on track in terms of effective service delivery. As a city, if we can prioritize and overcome this risk of fraud and corruption, we will effectively result in financial sustainability, and it will take care of all other risks listed in this report. Mr. Speaker, it is important that this council take due consideration and the city manager in terms of fraud and corruption. I know we are trying to do everything we can, but not enough has been done, especially when tools have been stolen. Officials cannot get the basic tools to conduct their work effectively, and it's important that this matter be really considered. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pillay. Councillor Mthethwa.
Siyabonga sihlalo. Njenge DA wemukela lo mbiko futhi siyaweseka ngoba siyaqonda ukuthi njalo ngonyaka kufanele kube khona ukuhlengahlengiswa kwale nqubomgomo uqinisekisa ukuthi siyakwazi ukuhlonza lokho kungahle kube ichashaza elibi ekusebenzeni kukamasipala usebenzela abantu baseThekwini. Ngakho ke kuhlelo esilwesekayo sethemba ukuthi akusikhona nje ukuthi we are ticking the box, kufanele ukuthi kube khona izinto esizoyibukela eduzane. Ngakho ke through wena sihlalo ngicela ungivumele ngiaddress umphathi wedolobha city manager ukuthi ngoba noma singenza noma yini to identify ama risk and opportunities.
Please try to speak closer to your mic.
Noma singenza noma yini to identify ama risk and opportunities. Kodwa uhlelo lwenkohlakalo ne corruption and fraud luzosehlula kulo masipala ngoba sinophiko olubalekile lolu lozokuphenya lwangaphakathi okuthiwa CIU ezinsukwini nje ezedlule sithole umasipala obhekene nehlazo lokuthi kunabasebenzi abasolala ezinsolweni zokugwazisa. Uyabona ke uma ngabe unophiko olubaluleke njengalolu ekulweni nenkohlakalo nokukhwabanisa, uthola ukuthi kwalona kubonakala lu compromised. Lokho kwenza ukuthi zonke lemizamo eyenziwa la izophelelezeni phela ngoba abantu kufanele ukuthi basilekelele njengalomkhandlu uqinisekisa ukuthi inkohlakalo nokukhwabanisa siyalwisana nakho sekunqobe kwabona ba compromise. Ngakho ke siyafisa ukuthi usuthi manager enze imizamo ukubukela eduzane lo luyaphika ukuthi lisenza lokho olwalisungulelwe khona yini noma nalo seluyingxenye yeyinkinga esibhekene nazo kumasipala ngoba whatever we do unless we have a very strong and competent CIU, the fight against fraud and corruption is far from over, and we are not going to win that battle. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Siyabonga kakhulu Councillor Mthethwa. Mayor Councillor Kaunda.
Ngibonge somlomo. Ukuqala siyayimukela le report ngoba isho ukuthi asibheke izinto engabeka umasipala wethu engcupheni ungakwazi ukufezeka isidingo nezinjongo zawo zokusebenzela umphakathi waseThekwini. Lokho ke kukhomba ukuthi umthetho mawusiyalela ukuthi sibheke ukuthi iziphi lezo zinto. Eyokuqala nje bekwe phezulu financial sustainability. Ngoba umasipala ukuze ukwazi ukufezekisa izidingo zomphakathi nezinjongo zawo kumele ube financial stable. Sicabanga ukuthi ke umsebenzi loyo ufanele siqhubeke siwenze ngoba njengomasipala fanele sikwazi ukukhuthaza abantu bakithi bekhokhela izidingo kodwa futhi beyikhokhela izidingo sikwazi ukudlulisa usizo kubantu bakithi ngendlela ekulindeleke ngayo. Iphinde ivezeke ukuthi kwesinye isikhathi umasipala bayithola besenkingeni nje ngenxa yesimo sezempilo nenhlalonhle yabantu socio economic conditions. Ngakho kubalekile ukubheka intuthuko ezomnotho edolobheni lethu laseThekwini nokuthi amathuba omsebenzi siwadala kanjani ngoba uma ukhuluma ngesimo sobupha abantu bakithi abangasebenzi iningi labo lapha eThekwini impendulo kulokho kufanele kube yikona ukcreate kwamathuba omsebenzi kodwa kufanele sifake imali eningi njengomasipala njengoba senza nje ngoba kuye kunakeke somlomo okubi kuphela ukuthi kunama floods eThekwini kunesiwe likhaya kodwa kunganake ukuthi uma ukhuluma ngokukhandwa kwamathuba omnotho eThekwini singamanye amadolobha ahamba phambili futhi sisazoqhubeka siwukhulisa umnotho wedolobha lakithi. Ziningi inhlelo zentuthuko ezintsha lezo ezifaka phakathi nanokuthi sibhizi siyaplana ukuthi intuthuko yaseyindaweni ezisemakhaya nasemalokishini kungabe intuthuko ebekwa kude kodwa ibekwe eqhulwini le inhlelo zethu ngoba uma ukhuluma ngokuthuthukisa kwabantu bakithi abantu abahlezi ebubheni abahleli esimweni esibi kwezomnotho abantu abaseyindaweni ezisemakhaya nasemalokishini. Ngakho kumnotho efanele sikwazi ukufocusa kona ingakho singeze ukubeka eceleni ukubheka ukuthi imbumbulu nezinye indawo ezisemakhaya sivuselela kanjani zibe amadolobha azokwazi ukukhanda umnotho abe isidleke esihle sokukhandwa kwemnotho. Indawo enjengakomnini abathi abanye semgababa senza kanjani kwakha amadolobha amasha ngoba kumele siwakhandile la madolobha amasha azokhiqiza amathuba omsebenzi namathuba ezomnotho edolobheni lakithi. Ngakho ke sibona kubalekile ukuthi lezi zinto sikwazi ukuzibeka njengezinto ezisoqhulwini ukuthi singazitholi singakwazi ukusebenza. Kodwa okunye kubalekile basic service delivery. Abantu bakithi abangakhali njalo ngamapipe aqhumile bekhale ngendle ehamba emgwaqweni emalokishini kungabe khona uaction osheshayo ukulungisa lezo zinto. Ngakho ke kumele inhlelo zethu sibheke ukuthi abasebenzi benele usithi manager buyabheke futhi ukuthi kungabe structure i-organizational structure yomkhandlu wethu ngabe kulungele na ukuthi sidlule sidingo ngendlela ekulindeleke ngayo ngoba kuumsebenzi ka city manager ukuthi njobe esekhethiwe nje wakhonjwa wa-appointwa kumele ke avuselele abhekelele ukuthi isakhiwo sethu simi ngendlela yini. Mawukhuluma ngezenkohlakalo ne-corruption akuyona into esingayibeka kube sengathi awukho umsebenzi wenziwayo wokulwisana nenkohlakalo. Ukhona umsebenzi kodwa kumele masuqhubezele phambili siukhulise ukulwisana ngempumelelo no-corruption. Ngikhuluma nje ama cases amaningi ayasetshenzwa lapha akhona phambi kwethu sinethemba lokuthi azozala izithelo. Abanye bayerizanela luthi liqala nje uhlelo lokuthi kuyasolwa ukuthi abantu bakithi ngase kube khona kwenzile meseshesha asule emsebenzini kodwa abanye ke siyabalandela somlomo ukuthi noma sewusulile wa resigner kodwa sikwazi ukulandela ukuthi ngabe khona imali kamasipala oyithathile kwenze lezo indleko sikwazi ukuthi leyo mali siyibuyisele esikhwameni sikamasipala. Ngifuna ke ukuvala ngelo ukuthi kubalekile futhi sibheke ukuthi climate change akuyona into noma uguquko kwesimo sezulu akuyona into esazofika into esikhona esesiphila nayo ngakho kumsebenzi efanele siwenze inqala sizinda yethu fanele masikhande ikwazi ukuresista kakhulukazi uguquko kwesimo sezulu abantu imiphefumulo yabo iphephe siyakuncoma ke nje somlomo ukuthi lo masipala une weather early warning system iyasiza kakhulu kubantu balapha eQuarry Height esasheshe saphuthuma sayakubona sathi siyabagudluza manje ngoba kuza imvula ezinkulu sithemba ukuthi lo system fanele siqhubeke siyikhulise iye phambili siyakuncoma futhi ukuthi naye lo osolakaleli forensic investigator ukuthi kunokwenza khona inkohlakalayo yenza lapha simane sambhala incwadi njengomasipala sambuza kungani singese imxoshe kwasasheshe wabaleka yena kwabona ukuthi amacala uzoba nawo ngaphambili kukamasipala ngakho konke lo msebenzi ezokuphepha ukwehlisa izinga lobugebengu edolobheni lakithi ukuvuselela inhloko dolobha yethu kakhulukazi maphakathi nali dolobha ukuthi ibe sesimweni esibukekayo abadayisa indlela ekuhlelwe ngayo ukudayisa kwabo amabhizinisi asebenzayo ngaphakathi kwi-CBD nakuma secondary towns ethu sikwazi ukuwabheka nalabo ke abadayisa izinto engekho emthethweni sikwazi ukubhekana lezi kodwa kuumsebenzi omuhle kakhulu efanele sibambisane sonke nomphakathi nosomabhizinisi ukulungisa inqala sizinda yethu nokukhanda amathuba omsebenzi siyabonga somlomo.
Thank you very much, His Worship the Mayor. Councillors, is the recommendation agreed? Thank you, City Manager.
Item number 2.3, Service Delivery and Budget Implementation Plan for the quarter ended 30th September 2022. Committee recommends.
Thank you, councillors. Is the recommendation noted? Thank you, City Manager. We now going to receive the second report of the executive. Let me allow His Worship the Mayor to chair the report. Mayor.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. On behalf of the Executive Committee, I wish to table the second report of the Executive Committee to the Council.
Thank you, City Manager.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. The second report of the Executive Committee for their meeting, which was held on the 22nd of the 11th, 2022. The first report is the report of the Finance, Security and Emergency Services Committee for their meeting, which was held on the 16th of the 11th, 2022. Item 1.1, progress report of 1.5 billion borrowing for capital budget. Committee recommends.
Thank you, City Manager. I've got speakers. It's page 31, item 1.1, Councillor Said, Councillor Pillay, Councillor Mwango, and Councillor Nomia. In that order, Councillor Said.
Withdrawing.
Oh, thank you very much. Councillor Pillay. Councillor Pillay is not here, not in. Councillor Mwango.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Actually, as I believe that there's no reason why we can object to such a loan when you look at a good gearing ratio, which is really below the benchmark. We believe the city is in a favorable position to take a loan. But also we hope that the budget will be really readjusted to deal with the issue of sanitation. We note that the breakdown shows that only 60 million is allocated towards sanitation. We believe it's a real crisis facing our city, and we hope that you can readjust this budget. But also, we're hoping that the new deal between the ANC and EFF is not about stealing this money before us now. But one must say, Speaker, the issue of timeline, it says advertise the request for proposal on the 4th of, by 4th.
ANC welcome and appreciate the quick response to facilitate the implementation of decisions impacting cluster and units within the applicable timeframes after the Council approved the borrowing to fund the capital budget be increased from 1 billion to 1.5 billion to deal with the damages arising from the recent storms. The borrowing will assist the people of eThekwini regardless of their political affiliates. The Special Council approved this borrowing because eThekwini was hit hardest by recent floods in the province. With more than 350 people dead, many people missing and billions in infrastructure damage. So we can't fold our arms and forget the people sent us in this council. Floods attacks mostly eThekwini, so we can't politicize this issue even unnecessary. People of eThekwini are struggling after floods attack them, so this capital expenditure will speed up the service delivery. We are aware of outstanding funds from other spheres of government, of which means once the funds received, we can still reduce from 1.5 billion. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Nomia. Councillors, is the recognition agreed? Is voting, I'm sorry, is noted.
Point of clarity, Speaker.
Thank you. City Manager.
Point of clarity.
Item number 1.2.
Sorry. Let me check that hand.
Speaker, as the Freedom Front, I just need to ask a question. I don't want to speak on the item. We just want a point of clarity. Item 1.1 on this report says that we're going to borrow 1.5 billion over 20 years, and then another billion next year, and another billion the year after that. But if we move further in our agenda for today, the next item is 1.3. So if we do have 4.5 billion invested in financial institutions at the moment, why are we going out to borrow 1.5 billion and another billion and another billion over the next 3 years? That doesn't make sense. It's like having a car in my garage, but I'm not using it. I'll rather go buy a new car that I have to pay off over 20 years. Thank you, Speaker.
Yeah, although you're not audible enough and your question is not clear, I'm not sure whether can you summarize your question, try to be clear so that I can hear you exactly what we're asking.
Sorry, Speaker, yes. This is item 1.1, where we are
1.1,
where we are going to borrow 1.5 billion over 20 years. And then next year another billion, and then next year another billion. But yet if we move further on our agenda for today.
No. Yeah, no.
Item 1.3.
Sorry, Councillor. Your point of order is overruled.
It's a question, Speaker. It's just a question for clarity.
No. When you raise your hand, you said point of order. When you raise your hand, you said point of order.
I didn't say, I said clarity, Speaker.
No, I hear you. But my word is that the hand you have raised after the matter has been discussed and concluded. And Council has already taken a decision on the matter. Therefore, I won't allow you to continue with your point, and then I won't allow anyone to respond to your issue because Council already have decided on the matter. I therefore rule. Thank you, City Manager.
Speaker, we cannot play an oversight role if we don't have the facts on the table.
Council, I've already made my ruling. Let's proceed, City Manager.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Item 1.2, request for budget reprioritization for the Metropolis Unit. Committee recommends.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillors, item 1.2, page 33. There's Councillor M.E. Hlengwa, Councillor
Sorry, Speaker, on the previous item,
Councillor Ntuli.
the Freedom Front does not support that motion. I just want to let it be
Councillor
noted.
Hlengwa.
The previous item 1.1, the 1.5 billion that's been loaned, we do not support.
Councillor Hlengwa.
Angibonge Speaker. CAPF yahambisana nesincomo sekomiti ikakhulukazi mawubheka impilo yaseThekwini ukuphepha sekuncane kakhulu umuntu sesaba ngisho ukuhamba emgaqweni. So anything that seeks to empower amaphoyisa ethu eThekwini ukuze akwazi ukwenza umsebenzi wawo siyahambisana nayo. Kodwa ke iconcern enkulu ukuthi siprioritize nje ukuthenga ifridge esizofaka kulona impahla esiphuca ogogo noma bethe emgaqweni. We even intend prior ukuthi nje sizobaphuca lezi impahla kodwa singazange sikwazi ukubheka ukuphepha kwabantu sengathi ngelinye ilanga uma si reprioritize singabheka ekutheni abantu baseThekwini kungakanani ukuphepha kubona rather than ukufocus kakhulu komama bethu abadayisayo emgaqweni sakhula ngayo.
Your time is up. Councillors, after this item, we are going to break for lunch. I've got only two speakers, it's Councillor Monseke and Councillor Ntuli. Then after that, we break for lunch. Councillor Monseke.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Ngibingelele, ama councillor, ama official, nama cause. Speaker, as the EFF, we do support the item to cater for what is required by the unit. And also would like to put on record that we do not support the allocation of 90,000 for acquisition of refrigerator of the Hawkers Department. However, as the EFF, we passionately reject the acquisition of a refrigerator that will store a perishable that are forcefully confiscated from our poor people and blacks in general. Because therefore, as the EFF, we can't be part of an abusive and brutal, arrogant ANC municipal council which continues to victimize our people. Respect the street vendors, finalize the issue of permits and do a proper allocation. We want to warn this municipality, as long as you can't prove to our people that you are ready to resolve their problems, do not touch them or else we will be forced to fight and defend them. EFF prohibits the confiscation of vendors' goods as the way to enforce the municipal bylaw. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Monseke. Councillor Ntuli.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and greeting to the colleagues, the worship. As the ANC, we understand that it's necessary to do this reprioritization to ensure that the metropolis, they do their work. As we know, as the council that we've got, the new recruited metropolis who are going to be hitting on the ground as we are on the festive season. So as the African National Congress, we do support this item, and as the leader of the municipality, we've got the responsibility to ensure that our employees are working in a conducive and safety place. So as the African National Congress, we do support this reprioritization. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, councillors. Councillors, is the commission agreed? Thank you very much. Let's break for lunch. I will give you 35 minutes. 35 minutes to your back.
Speaker.
Yes.
Mine's been up the whole time.
Order.
Sorry, Speaker. Umlungu lapha uyamsurprise kade phakamisela umnothi.
No. We are breaking for lunch. Come back in 35 minutes. You don't raise your hand in council. You raise your hand and raise a point of order or whatever. Don't raise and keep quiet. 35 minutes, councillors. 35 minutes strictly. There are still more items in the agenda. Thank you.